Awesome. So what's up, everyone? Good evening, hackers. Welcome back. So thanks for joining us again for our third session, our third Hack the Box Meetup. I feel like we just had one of these, but obviously we aren't complaining. Personally, you guys are making this a lot of fun. Keeping myself and Spy Monkey motivated to do these. A lot of work goes into these sort of things in the background. So just a huge thanks to everyone who is involved, and obviously to Hack the Box for giving us the platform so that we can bring these meetups to you. My presentation tonight will be a little bit shorter than usual because we have an awesome guest speaker. For those who are on the Hack the Box Discord, you'll have seen Roadrunner posting in the announcement section. And with the most exciting, in my opinion, being the recently added Battlegrounds feature. We managed to convince her that as South Africa, we're ready to tackle on the rest of the world in these head-to-head fights. So we asked if she could come along and present a brief overview of sort of Hack the Box's new features with maybe a bit of focus on Battlegrounds and then possibly some questions at the end. So it's nice to be a lot less intense, a bit more relaxed this evening, but there's plenty of great content for everyone. So with that being said, I would like to hand over to Roadrunner for what I'm sure is going to be an interesting overview.
Hello guys, I'm very happy to meet you all. I'm Roadrunner, aka Soti. I'm community manager of Hack the Box for 1.5 years now. Pen tester and hacker myself for many years. But not many, I'm young, but you understand what I'm saying. And I'm very happy and honored. We are very happy that the meetups have kickstarted and are going so well. And we see that people communicate and use them, and it is like a dream come true. So we are very happy about that. The other thing that I would like to say is, of course, thank you for participating for today's meetup and for taking a few times to listen to me. First of all, the DM is open, so please bring any questions you may have on the comments or on Discord, and I will try my best to reply to all of them. The first thing that I would like to say, and thank you for introducing us. Yes, the next big feature that now Hack the Box launched is Battlegrounds. And Hacking Battlegrounds is one of our babies that we love so much. Battlegrounds are there to introduce a new mindset of gaming and hacking, incorporating together. You have to attack 4 machines and you have to defend your 4 machines. And 2 teams try to defend and hack at the same time. So it's really the reality of the red and blue teaming at the same time. So for all of you that you don't know, we have 2 for free users, while we are on beta test phase 2, and we have 20 for all users that are VIP or VIP Plus. Soon, once we are out of beta, we will announce the normal subscription for everyone and how its rank we'll have, or if we will have a separate subscription, we'll see. So this is about the Battlegrounds. For everyone that is afraid, it's not that hard. It is more of a strategy game than of a hacking game, because yes, you have to hack, but you have to be clever on what you have to defend, on your timing. You need to, you can't be all over the place, but in order. So that's why we see top players struggling and some people that are more methodical doing better. So don't be afraid. Go play Hack Battlegrounds and leave us your feedback. And we are going to announce also some new features in Battlegrounds soon. So stay tuned. That the community said, and of course we had to answer them and deliver them. This is the first thing about Battlegrounds. Another feature that it was highly requested, and we implemented it. Of course, it is. What it is? Yes, of course, it's tracks. Now in Hack the Box, there are specific tracks that you can follow for your hacking journey. If you want to go an intro to offshore in order to prepare for offshore, if you want to do an intro to Linux, to privilege escalation, to Windows fundamentals, to anything, Hack the Box has now created tracks that you can use them in order to guide your training. That is very easy. It is on the new platform, you will see it, and that app.hackthebox.eu. It is listed there. So the only thing that you have to do is make sure to follow the track that you want. Also, a nice track is that we have a Synac track that everyone that completes that can be added to the Synac red team. And what else? Yes, there are many. They're about your intro to CTF playing, about panel exploitation. A lot of things are coming up. So make sure to check out tracks in order for more targeted learning. If you're like, I don't know what machines to play, but I know that I have this vision for myself, tracks is the way to go. And of course, we released a new Fortress context. It's very, very, very nice. It's a hard lab. But I promise you, for everyone that is a skilled hacker, will definitely join and benefit from it. I think regarding new announcement of Hack the Box on the content side, that is that. APT lab that we released this Saturday, that does not have a root yet. Fingers crossed, it's the first time in Hack the Box history we didn't have a root so fast. It didn't have a root like after so many days. And the other thing is the store that you saw on the Hack the Box stores. Now we have desk mods. I know you all anticipated for it, and of course we had to make it true. We have a lot of feedback from the community that they love them, they love the quality. But we were out of stock, like the first day we announced them. It went, they went crazy, but we have restocked. So make sure to check out the new desk mats. And what else is pending, and I would like to discuss with you, is of course we hit a huge milestone. Our Discord that you should all join, the Hack the Box Discord server, besides your community server, just became partners, and we're very happy about that. And we did a huge celebration and a huge giveaway. And of course, we couldn't do that without you. And thank you for being part of our community. Thank you, because in 1 year, and we have that I'm here, we created more than 100 meetups. We have hosted more than 70 CTFs. We have created so many meetups. The machines, the challenges are improving. The community is getting skilled and skilled and skilled and more skilled. And thank you for being loyal to Hack the Box. And believe me, we need your feedback as crucial. It's as hard as possible, because we wanted to, this is the only thing that will make us better, criticism. So bring it on, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Also, I forgot to mention, we did an AMA with Goblin last week. Now it's uploaded on our YouTube, if you want to check it out. And we are planning to do AMAs every month. The next one will be also done via StreamYard, like here. And I hope all of you will join. It will be a very fun AMA, depending on the content. And also, we have something very huge coming up from Hack the Box. And I will not say anything, but you will see in the next few days. I know it is you guys, but it's going to be awesome. So I think that is all from me. I think I covered anything of Hack the Box latest news and updates. And yes, and the other thing I would like to add is we have the University CTF. So everyone that is in a university, he can enroll our UniCTF for free. It will have prizes by Hack the Box, by DigitalOcean and Parrot. We will give prizes for the qualification round and the final round. It will be max team size of 10. And it can be universities from all around the world. So all of you that you are students, or you know that someone is a student, or you're a professor and you want to enroll your students, don't hesitate, because the registration closed on the 15th of November. And we just also sent a verification for everyone enrollment until now today. So don't wait anymore. Just go and subscribe. It is on Hack the Box /universities. And then you will see University CTF 2020, the URL. So hope you love it, guys. And we did also a post today with a giveaway. So everyone that comments below that post, and there's a chance to win the awesome desk mats I told you before that the store gone crazy about, and they're out of stock like in a minute. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to hear any of your comments, of your feedback. So thank you. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Just missing. Okay, so let me. Question for a runner, if any. Okay.
So if there are any questions, please add it to YouTube. But I've got a question for you. So I've been doing the new context fortress you mentioned, and I'm glad you said it's very very difficult, because I only have done the first 2 flags and then I got completely stuck. But I wanted to find out about the fortresses. What are they? Because it looks like they get sponsored by companies,
Exactly.
but I don't really know how that works.
So how are fortresses? Of course, fortresses like end games. In order to be able to play them, you have to be from a rank and above. I think for fortresses is harder rank and above, and the others guru, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to check. And fortresses are like, I am a company and I want to add the fortress, like an endgame, let's say, in Hack the Box that has everything that this company is most related to or most is looking forward to. So by solving the fortress by any company that adds this on Hack the Box, it's also a friendly way to show that I'm around. I have played it. I know to play what you're looking for. So it is a win-win. So they can get introduced to you, and you can get introduced to them by showing your skills. So these are the fortresses. And yes, they're provided by companies, and of course they're reviewed and they're moderated by us. But yes, these are the fortresses.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much. It's quite interesting, all the different facets to the platform. I'm just trying to see if there are any other questions.
I do not see one. The only thing that I find weird is that you just missing the magnificent beards. I don't have one. It would be strange if I had one. But yes, Goblin has one. So if you want to see his beard in all of his excellence, go to the YouTube video of the AMA we did with Goblin, and you will get the most of it. He also say how he treats his beard in order to become so beautiful and iconic. So make sure to check that out video.
So I watched that live, and one of the things he said is he wants live hacking to become like a esport. But I'm not sure how he's going to do that, because it's very much like watching people solve technical problems or debugging. It's not that interesting to watch. I'm quite interested to see what he comes up with to make it interesting to see.
Yes. Well, of course, Battlegrounds something interesting to see, and we have some new things we will release for that direction, for the e-game. And yes, as I will not try to pronounce your name because I think it will be strong, but you say Ipsec has 2 videos on Battlegrounds on the Hack the Box YouTube channel. Yes, he has created 2 videos. One that is showing the gameplay and how do you play Hack the Box video, and how do you play HBG and what your methodology should be and things like that. But streaming is not allowed yet by the community members. We did it only to show how to do that, so treat them as active machines until we say otherwise. And he also released a blue teaming gameplay. So how you could blue team, like in order to show you and the attacking side and the defending side of Battlegrounds, so you can get the whole idea of it.
I've actually played one already, Spy Monkey. I played one already, and it's quite a lot of fun. They have like a lady who speaks and updates you as you go along and sort of tells you like a user's been owned, or
yes,
pressing flags or re-hiding flags and everything. So maybe not from a spectator, point of view, maybe that's not the idea. The idea is just to make it more of like a competitive for teams. That would be, I think I'd be into that if we could set together like a 3-man team or something. Because
so
it is quite stressful,
like,
actually.
To not automate a team, but to actually have specific teams that join. This is what you mean?
Yeah, well, I'm saying eventually, if that could ever be a thing, but potentially, yes. If you'd set up a little team or something like that, then you could strategize with the people that you know, and you
Yes.
got different ways to have one person focus on blue team, one person on red team.
Well, also it has the chat that you can assign who does, like you can discuss about it. You can assign machines. So let's say I assign to Spinky to defend that machine, and I assign to Choco to attack that machine. So it has also the assignment. And of course, you can use Discord. We have added in our Discord specific channels that we allow some moderate streaming in order for you guys to interact and discuss and do some voice chat because we know it helps. And also there is the battle log that shows you what goes down. It needs improvements, of course, nothing is perfect, but there are a lot of features that you could utilize, and make sure to check them out.
Awesome. I haven't seen any more questions. Have you found?
Yeah, there's one question on Discord. The question is, do you need to be part of a university registered on Hack The Box already to be able to participate in that CTF?
Yes, but you don't have to be part at the university. Like, if you want to participate, I mean, your university is not enrolled. The only thing that you have to do is enroll. The enrollment is for free. It takes not more than 1 minute. And it is just only to have a list of the universities that are enrolled in the platform. There is no tricky marketing thing there. It's just only for the creation of the database and everything. So just enroll. It's free. The application has to be signed by a professor, so you have time. And yes, because the application closes by the 15th. And yes, then you can play with a lot of universities from all around. Actually, like it's insane how many universities we have. So you can achieve internal glory. Think of that.
There's a second question from the same person, and is asking, do you need the university's permission to add them?
Yes, you need a professor from your university has to sign the application. It doesn't mean that he has to play to the CTF. It doesn't mean that he will be the university admin. But because it's a brand, like a student may come and go, but the professor will be there. That's why we need from a professor a signed application.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Could we do a meetup sometime where we focus on Battlegrounds? Is that something we can do if we all just join Battlegrounds at the same time? Would some of us be in the same team and on opposing teams?
You can, but the streaming is not allowed as of now. Okay. So you can only stream your scoreboard. But I don't know how much that fun will be. So stay tuned for updates regarding the streaming, because they are coming. And yes, so Megalodon, do not worry, it will not take much. And it is like an honor not an honor, a lot of big universities are in Hack The Box, like Drexel, like Girl, Holloway, like top universities. Also a nice, in order to sell it correctly to your professor, it is a nice opportunity for the university to be listed with other top universities that teach cybersecurity all over the world. So you can use that, you can show, because the list is there, who are already enrolled. So you can enroll, join the CTF, and it has the most amazing gifts, actually. Like, I wish I could play to the CTF and win those gifts. It has swag, it has VIP Plus, it has ProLabs, it has a swag box by DigitalOcean, it has credit to their servers, it has Parrot swag. Like, I cannot even explain. We're free. And any other questions?
That looks like all the questions. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys, for having me. I hope it is an awesome event. You enjoyed all of it. And again, I'm very happy that you are in our community and you contribute so much. You both guys, you do an amazing job, and I really appreciate it for all that you do for the local community. And of course, thank you, all of you, that you joined this meetup and take the opportunity to learn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm handing back to you for your presentation.
All right, back to me. Okay. Well, as we know, we are already on to number 3 of Hack The Box meetups as we start with the finding exploit phase now. And we're going to jump straight into it. What's required, obviously, to find. So you think, you found a outdated software. Is there something related to it? Not sure. So there's many CVEs that kind of come out every single month, and these are potentially what we're looking for. Each one of them is something that would potentially help us in the situation. So wading through a sea of exploits can be really tough. Sometimes finding a working exploit can be even tougher. So I'm happy to start trying to equip you with all the sort of tools that we'll need to find the exploit that is appropriate, so you can get some points on the Hack the Box leaderboards and things. Let's start with the most potent tool there is, which I'm sure comes as no surprise. It's Google, right? I mean, let's be real here. Google it's a massive search engine, index thousands of pages, and it's always going to be your strongest tool when it comes to searching the internet. Hack the Box often focuses on exploits that aren't necessarily available on exploit, DB or other public databases, meaning you might need to Google and find a blog post discussing the vulnerability rather than just the exploit. The Google search bar does have some secrets though. The search bar has a few tricks that let you improve your search with advanced queries. So let's quickly go over some Google foo that you can use to strengthen your unlimited power. Before I show you the advanced operators, here are a few tips about how the Google search bar works. So every word does matter. If you search the test or a test, you're going to get different responses every single time. So every word obviously will influence what results you get back. The order matters. Test site versus site test will also give you 2 different responses. Capitalization, however, does not matter. So it doesn't matter where you put, if all in bold, capital T, funny capitalization there, doesn't really matter. As well as punctuation, it also doesn't matter. Generally speaking, there are exceptions to all these rules, but as a general, if you accept these will kind of help you focus your searches and filter them a bit more. Google operators now, these will help you to use advanced queries, and they are special characters and commands that extend your capabilities of a regular text search that you'll do. So I kind of picked the most 7 because there are lots, and there is something you can go Google. I recommend maybe Google's Sans, Google Cheat Sheet's pretty good, but there are lots. I picked probably the most prominent 7, or the ones that I actually use the most. Number 1, exact phrases. These are quotation marks, and as you can see, if you whatever you put into the quotation marks, it will look for exact matches. So it will look for phrases or single words or anything that exactly matches what is in your quotation marks. Number 2 is your number ranges. It's just 2 little dots, one after each other, 2 full stops, and that will let you do a range of numbers. So the example I put underneath here is exploits and then 2018, 2020. So you're sort of filtering your data out a little bit there as well. You can then filter even more with the exclusion, number 3, and that will then exclude any results that fit your windows. And within there, you can start to double up and throw in your exact phrase, your quotation marks, and put, Windows kernel or something in there, and minus all the kernel exploits, for example. Inclusion, this is not something that we tend to use too much just because Google has like an inclusion policy on its own, right? It's always going to look for any sort of matching or similar words. That's how it kind of works. But if you do want to focus your search a little bit more, if you have good reason to, you can always add the exclusion there as well. The next is the asterisk. This is, as many of you will know, it's a wildcard. It will sort of supplement for any value. So, for example, I was showing here exploit version 5. Any number. So it will fit in anything after that. The last 2 are important because you've got to remember that the full colon at the end, the colon is important. So if you put site and then the site there, it would filter for only results that come from that site. And the same for file type. It will filter for results that match your file type. So I put XLS, but you can put PDF, Word documents, environments, or whatever, text files, whatever you want in there. Again, I would recommend maybe checking out or Googling this if you do want to get more intense, but Google is pretty good at just with your standard text searches, you could probably find most of what you're looking for. So the next sort of place we would go to look for an exploit is this exploit database. This is a website maintained by Offensive Security, the same people that develop your Kali Linux and courses such as OSCP. And their aim is to serve as like the most comprehensive collection of exploits gathered through direct submissions, mailing lists, as well as other public sources, and present them to you in a freely available, easy to navigate database. Generally speaking, though, you should find the exploits in here in your initial Google search. As it's a very common website, this is with tons of great exploits, so it does, pop up in your original Google searches. So I would recommend that you go to this if you have something in mind, but generally I would keep to searching Google, as you're not limiting yourself only to exploits in this database again. But of course, I'd be amiss not to mention this. So in order to search over here, you got your search bar on the top right, and it's text-based as well. So you put in an application and a version or something like that. You can see in the center some examples that they have there, such as WordPress and then the plugin, and that will sort of index and pull that up for you. And then you can filter on the top right as well, and filter by refining your search to authors, types, tags, or even codes and platforms and things like that. Again, I would recommend using Google as your search engine, as this stuff is indexed, so you don't want to limit yourself only to this one website. So that being said, we have a command line sort of variant of exploit database now. So SearchPoint is a command line search tool for exploit database. And this allows you to bring a copy of exploit database with you on your Kali install. SearchPoint provides you with the ability to perform offline searches in locally saved repositories. It is installed by Kali on default. However, if you want to install it on another version of Linux or something, they have a GitHub repo. If you are using Kali Linux, you can expect the exploit database package to be updated every week. And if you're using Homebrew or Git, you can expect daily updates. In order to manually force an update, all you have to do is search exploit -u, simple as that, and it will update the exploit database package. And I'll be demonstrating SearchPoint a bit later and a bit more into it as we break into the practical parts of my presentation. But the two coolest options, in my opinion, or the two that I use the most frequently, are the TAC-M and the TAC-X, the mirror and the examine. These let you examine, will let you view the exploits, and you can kind of see in the comment sections, or even by scrolling through the code if this is something that applies to you. And the mirror will then let you copy directly from whichever location it's stored, Unix system resources, I'm sure, somewhere in that location, and then copy it to your working directory. And I would be amiss if I didn't mention Metasploit last. Metasploit, obviously, you can use to find exploits with the module search engine. It's super easy and often more effective than an exploit you'll get off the internet, as you get a interpreter back. Just bear in mind, though, that there is often a delay from a public POC to a Metasploit module, as somebody needs to write the Ruby, test the package, have Metasploit updated, and then, of course, get pushed into the latest update. To search on Metasploit, all you need to do is type the word search and then whatever keywords you're looking for afterwards. Metasploit can get really advanced, but for now, that's all we really need to know to find an exploit on Metasploit. So like I said, this wasn't going to be an extensive topic to cover, and that sort of concludes the presentation parts. I'm going to jump into my Kali box now, and you guys are obviously welcome to follow along as we go. And I'm going to take two boxes and show you how I would find the exploits for these two. And one of them is going to cover SearchPoint, and the other is going to be a bit more of an obscure Google, so you can see the kind of Google foo, or just how Google can give you like blog posts, GitHub repost POCs or something, rather than just searching exploit database. I'm going to stop sharing this one now and share my my Kali box now, so we can see that. Cool. So we'll start with Buff. Buff is currently an active box. I have done the reconnaissance already, just because obviously it can take a long time, and the enumeration, it can take a long time, and we don't want to sit and wait for an Nmap scan. And again, this was something that was covered in obviously last month's talk through SpyMonkey, who sort of, broke down what, as you can see, the command I ran, and what it was doing and everything. So if we take this, I can see Parity tagging me in my icon up there. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's nice and cool here. Thanks. Let's get to Buff here, just so I can show you what the room looks like, and you guys can follow along if you want to. It is this Windows. It is ranked easy. So let's start with this one. I just wait for it to spin up. Sorry. Give it a sec as it comes up. So in the meantime, let's quickly run through the Nmap scan. And what we could see is we had 7,680 open, Pando pub. Even I'm question marking that, so I've never heard of it. And then 8080, which is an Apache site, and probably where I would start and have a look if there's something going on there. We've got Mr. Ben's Bro Hut, obviously from HTTP title. Are we up now? Sorry, man, you know how live demos go. Should be up. We'll give it a sec. So the problem is I'm not on the dedicated labs VPN package. I didn't download the fresh package and everything, so I was trying to just demo it off my current VPN. Is it just a waiting game, or am I doing something blatantly obvious that I'm missing here? 10.10.10.198 8080. Well, that's annoying. SpyMonkey, can you see if I'm making a mistake? Or is it just not up yet? You can also refresh this bad boy.
I'm not seeing anything obvious. Are you using the right connection file?
So I'm not on the dedicated labs. This is just my standard.
Okay, but it's the VIP one.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you regenerate it after you got the VIP?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was on it last night.
Okay. No, then it should be working.
It just had to come up.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
I'll drop.
Awesome. So if we go through the enumeration kind of phase again, you start clicking around and you start prodding, what information can you find? And this one kind of gifts it to you in the contact page over here. It kind of tells you made using gym management software 1.0. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I first did this box and I read that, I didn't think that was a legitimate application or something like that. I just thought, no, that's just something that they've added in, I don't know. However, after a few minutes, I came back to it. And in fact, if you Google it, you'll find the first thing you Google responses you get for these are the exploit database and packages like that. But instead of showing you this, I want to show you SearchPloit. So if we use SearchPloit over here, and we just put in just the information we got, which was not the IP address, it's this. Well, let's just do not so much information there. See, they had it saved as system versus software. So as you can see, that sort of But there we go. You can see that SearchPoint has it, obviously, because exploit database had a copy of it, and we're looking at a local repository of this. So if we use the SearchPoint switches I was speaking about earlier, the tag X to examine, and as you can see, you'll need to just copy this little path over here so you can define exactly which one we're looking at, and chuck that at the end there. You can see that this pulls it up into like a page, and you can scroll down, scroll up into the whatever page you're using, and this then shares it. So I can see now this is an RCE, which is obviously something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in a DOS or something that you often see. It doesn't really help me. And we can see that it's obviously the same software, 1.0 and everything. So let's give it a go. In order to copy it to the local directory, you can just use TAC-M, and that mirrors it into your local directory. It's going to overwrite because I already have it saved. And you can see over here, I have this Python script now. So we are going to just run it and see if it. And as you can see, it prints us out a nice little sort, first of all, which is awesome. And second of all, a usage example. And it's not looking for anything too fancy. So you can just copy this. I know, obviously, we've extended past the exploit parts, but I just want to sort of demonstrate that it is the correct exploits and how it works. So if we copy that, paste, no, that's not the full URL, no. Could not connect to the shell. Okay, let's. You love live demos there. This should just work out the box. I don't know. Look, I'm not gonna.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, you're not sure.
Is it a Python 2 or Python 3 thing?
Oh, there you go. There we go. So that was it. That's all required, obviously, there. And as you can see, we now are actually sitting on the box itself. If I do an IP config, knowing this is a Windows box, you can see that that's actually the target machine there. So that's it. That's actually exploiting it. Unfortunately, with this, I don't want to give too much away about the box because that's not the idea of today's meeting. If we try CD, you can kind of see I'm still stuck in the same location. So this is sort of a broken web shell. It's sort of not giving us the full functionality of what we're looking for. So if you wanted to, I don't know, obviously change into C, or if we do who am I, we can see that we are buff shown. So let's just take a wild stab and let's try to read the user flag. Maybe I shouldn't do that on stream. Either way, so you could just see that this is not a complete shell. We can't CD back or something like that. We can't really change directories. So the exploit obviously did work, but it isn't comprehensive enough to give us a full shell. So that's up to you guys to kind of figure out, what would you then do next? Now would you get a decent shell back instead of just dealing with that broken shell? Lastly, I'm just going to run through Joule. Just over here. This is a medium box now. It is quite a cool box. I actually haven't finished it, as you can see. I just did the initial user flag just for the sake of this meetup. As you see, I actually need to catch up on a lot of things at the moment. Anyway, so let's start that up and give it a second as we go along. So this one we chose as well because it's no longer focused on just SearchPoint, because as you can see, it was quite easy, to just pull up SearchPoint and if we attack H over here, you can see what's going on. And that was it. It was simply as copying the exploit from SearchPoint, putting in our target's URL and throwing it at it, and that was it. And that gave us a shell back, which was awesome. And this one isn't going to be the same. Generally speaking, as I said earlier, if it is rated on a medium level, you're probably going to have to dig a little harder than exploit DB for a working POC, or maybe you find an exploit on there that is correct, but it's going to require some tweaking, or some sort of manipulation because they've hardened the box so that you're not just running, as you saw in the previous one, just running an exploit and getting the result back. We're not necessarily saying for these kind of things that you need to be a heavy coder, but if it does certainly help that if you read through it, you can understand the flow and sort of see that where you're breaking and manipulate it where necessary, and so that you can get a working shell on the box or something of that kind. So this one's going to test me a little bit because I still struggle to find an exploit every now and then. I have got my little cheat sheet over here, but it is a bit of a tougher one. So if I CD back up over here into Joule, cats up the nmap, we can see that we have 3 ports open. An initial probing of the 8,000 one showed me one interesting thing. It was if you can manipulate the URL to find other users and stuff like that, which is definitely something that you'll need to take notes of when you actually work through this kind of box. However, we kind of want to get onto port 80 and 80 because that had something slightly more interesting. So if I bring up the IP here, 80, was it 8080? 8,000, no, 8080. Oh, 8080 is actually the one, sorry, that you can see that if you click on users, you can actually manipulate them. And then if we go to 8,000, what is that? Maybe the box is still starting up. So anyway, so 8080 has a lot more interesting stuff. So hopefully when it pulls up now, you can see that there is a lot more going on there. And it had a nasty rabbit hole that I saw that on the Hack South Discord caught a few people. When scrolling through, you find a SQL database that had 2 users and their hashes assigned to it. So I saw a lot of people asking if anyone's got stronger password cracking rigs and things like that on the channel. And obviously, this is something that you could try and do, but trying to crack these would be quite tough. These hashes are bcrypt, but they have quite a strong cost to them. It's actually, if we go back to them, you'll see that is, let's pull up this file so you guys can see it. So as you can see here, you've got a Bill and a Jennifer and the associated hashes, which is obviously like super tempting. But you can see that the bcrypt's got a cost value of 12 assigned to it. That's 4,096 rounds. But what this means is on Hashcat 5, I'm going off Hashcat 5 stats here because Hashcat 6 had a bcrypt performance and significance, and that came out in May. But on the stats that were on Hashcat 5, an RTX 2080 Ti, the hash rate is 219 per second. And for a bit of perspective, so it'll only do 219 of these per second, essentially, of the hash rate. For perspective, the same GPU can do 54 billion MD5 hashes per second. So 219 per second is actually not that fast when you're going through a word list of like 14 million or something like that, or even longer word lists. And that's to say if these things are even a word list. So you're welcome to try crack them, but it isn't necessary. So ignoring the hashes for now, if we check the gem file at the top over here, if you start clicking through these and the gem file being on the top over here, you get a bit of information back about what's going on. We get some information on the Ruby version and some information on gem Rails. And at this point, for those that don't know, something that I also wasn't completely familiar with, but Rails is actually referred to something called Ruby on Rails. And you can Google that if you chuck Ruby Rails into a search. Maybe we could do that, Ruby and Rails into a search together. You can kind of see it should Ruby on Rails. It's a server-side web application. And this sort of provides a bit of information of what's happening server-side, a bit of information for us, and something that we should probably look into. As you can see, we're now on version 6. So this is an updated version, 5.2.2.1. And yeah, something that's worth taking the time. So we are going to go this way. I'm going to open a new private window, though, just so my previous search results don't influence my current results, just for your sake, because obviously you won't have searched for this at this point or something. Just for interest, what we could also do is we could check search code for Ruby on Rails and see what stuff they have. There is quite a few, and you are welcome to try. As you go along, you'll see double tap gets mentioned quite a bit, and the RCE portion of it is quite obviously appealing. I didn't test all of these, but I know that a lot of these probably won't work. And obviously, being a medium box, if you were finding the exploits here, it would require obviously some clever manipulation or something else to get on the box. Or that's to say, maybe the exploit works, but they've hardened that portion so that that isn't the intended route. So if we go back to Google searching now, trying to see what's going on, we could always start with Ruby on Rails, and this is something that I tend to start with, is looking at release dates and everything like that. So if we do Ruby on Rails version release, Wikipedia, we can see that 5.2 is actually 2018 and quite a bit older, as we've already on latest version 6.0s and stuff like that. And what's interesting is they're only doing it by 5.2. So I will use the fact that this is only saying 5.2 and negate the rest, the 5.2.2.1 that we had. That part. So I'm going to get rid of that part for now, just because, you're welcome to search with it. But for the sake of this, I'm going to drop it. So let's go on. Now that we know the version and we know what's going on, let's start with the obvious, is looking for a straight up exploit, right? So if we were just doing Ruby on Rails, and let's do 5.2.1, let's do it just so we can see 2.1, and then we want to do the word exploit, and let's just see if anything else comes up, if we get any sort of other hits, and instantly we get our favorite exploit DB. We do get a GitHub over here for double tap, and I did go down this myself for a little bit and had not much luck. But as you can see, it's sort of an older 2019 exploit that came out. And if you are thinking in terms of Hack the Box and stuff like that, this is probably stuff that was covered back in 2019 when this stuff came out. So it's not necessarily safe, but it's a good assumption to make that you're looking for later things that have kind of recently got released and generating a little bit of interest amongst the box creator, and that's the reason for him to get stuck in. And this had a Metasploit module that you could have chucked at double tap at a Metasploit module. You could give it a go and stuff like that, and maybe see if it would stick or not. But if we continue on with our search, because I said I did try double tap, bit of a rabbit hole. So we can continue on with our search and try and refine it a bit more and see if we do get lucky, find something on the internet that we could manipulate or throw at our target. So as I said, if we add the word 2020, maybe look for something newer than 2019, we start getting a little bit security vulnerabilities in 2020. This is getting a bit more promising, but as you'll know that these won't really have POCs on them. Exploit database arbitrary file content disclosure, that could be something. Ideally we're looking for RCE, of course, or something, but this could be something if we get a little bit more desperate along the way. And again, not really finding too much interesting down here, as you've got Rapid 7 and so what we ideally want to hit is a POC. A proof of concept, right? So someone's already written us a working exploit. So that's always sort of what our first, goal would be, because they're kind of taken the sting out of it for us in the first place. If we've got a working exploit and it only requires us to change like IP or listing port or whatever, it's the ultimate win. So we can refine this search again, and we can look for a GitHub repo. Maybe there's something related to that. So now, as we can see with a bit of the Google foo we mentioned earlier, all our responses are going to come from the github.com website. We can scroll down. We're sort of not really. So I, of course, know what the exploit is, and we're not really hitting it at this point. We still got this double tap being mentioned everywhere. We still got 2019 over here. But that, of course, would happen unless we enclose this in, direct quotation marks, the exact match. And even then, that's not to say that this won't be hit, because as long as it has the word kind of 2020 in it, it will be put above these ones. So if we go back to this, the Ruby on Rails, the 5.2, this is sort of the naming convention for that. And we don't really know how many versions came out. So at this point, we're struggling to find a direct version on 5.2.1. So what I would then tend to do would actually be to drop that part and, stick with the version releases over here and see if that we get any more luck back then. Because generally speaking, your exploits are sort of like backwards compatible, not really upwards. So because that they seem to patch, and once it's patched, that's sort of it. But so if we do this 5.2, we actually get the perfect head, right? So this is a CVE 2020, Ruby on Rails, and as you can see, it's 5.2.3. That's why we weren't hitting it in that other search we were doing. So as you can see, it's looking for Rails 5.2.3. But this is, and they got a little link over here that you can read. And this is actually the working payload. This is it does require obviously some manipulation, but this is actually the exploit that I used to get user back on this box over here to get a bit of a shell back. And you can see they got a nice little presentation over here showing you how it works and how you can execute commands on the machine. So that's sort of it. This is not a very intense section. It's more just with Googling, and obviously the more you Google, the better you get, So that's kind of all I wanted to cover in this section. So we have these two boxes on the labs, as well as Servmon, which has another CVE that's something that you can Google, and remote as well. These are both centric around exploits. So not necessarily abuse of something. These are centric around finding an exploit and having that work. So we do want to kind of propose a challenge to see if that you guys, at least before the end of the night, can enumerate the box as if of something we did last week, and then just find the exploits. Obviously, getting the exploit to work isn't something that we've necessarily taught certain people or anything yet, but we'd like to propose the challenge that if you could maybe see if at least you find what the potential foothold is based on your enumeration and a bit of Googling on, what application versions and things you have. And with that, Swamak, I'm sort of going to close up there. It's sort of the 1 hour introduction, 1 hour that we want to do, and then open up the labs now and let you guys just, go at it for a bit. This time it'll be a little bit more lab time, which is very nice because we want to keep these things very practically focused. We want to keep you guys hands on keyboards the whole time. So yeah, with that, that's it. That's kind of how I'm going to conclude for the day. And you'll catch us guys in the Discord. We'll be willing to take questions or point you in the right directions. And I'm going to see maybe if I can finish Joule because I haven't obviously got root on that yet.